Good evening, fellow students. Welcome to Lesson 7 of Foundations of Customer Service. This topic will focus on defining the word problem, looking at how to attend to customer complaints, how to resolve problems and conflicts with customers, how to deal with difficult customers, and how to deal with your own stress. Well, before we get into all the aspects of dealing with problems and complaints with customers, we need to identify and define the term problem. What is a problem? A problem is anything that may cause stress. It can be chronic, it can be a short-term problem, or it can be a long-term problem. It can be simple, it can be acute. Anything that is not desirable to a person is a problem. Now, they say small problems or simple problems occur suddenly, immediately, and they might not have an immediate solution. Okay? For example, your electricity at home might go off. You are not anticipating that to happen because a fuse has erupted or burned out. But a chronic problem is a problem that takes long to occur, okay, and it's recurring and it's very complex, so it's difficult to solve. All right, now a problem has to have a solution, okay, so that's why companies have gone ahead and created what we call solution models. And then we have a problem that is much bigger, and that is a crisis. A crisis is what they say is a hostile situation that disrupts the operation of a business, disrupts the usual existence, for instance, of human beings, or attracts media coverage, for instance. A plane crash is a crisis. A natural disaster like an earthquake is a crisis. And so there are different types of crisis. Natural disasters, we have crises that you can plan for. We have small crises or small problems. So all these types of problems, they can be either financial, can be political, can be environmental, can be government. We need to plan for them. Whether they're short-lived or long-lived, we have to have a plan in our organization. And so the different types of plan that you can come across is, crisis that you can come across is, the first one is what we call immediate crisis. This type of problem, it happens suddenly, it's not planned for. Something like your earthquakes, your natural disasters, a breakout of fire at home, plane crashes, these are immediate, okay? And most companies nowadays have taken out insurance to cover themselves against what we call immediate crisis. Okay, natural disasters are also immediate crisis. And then we have what we call emerging crisis. This allows the company to plan for research, all right? For example, strikes, discouraged employees, those are what we call emerging crisis. Something that brews or takes long to erupt, that is an emerging crisis. Then we have the sustained crisis. This crisis persists for months and months and months. You can, see it coming, but you can either ignore it or you can do something before it becomes major. And these are like retrenchments, the downsizing of the business, the liquidation of a business, like what we have in the case of Air Namibia. So all these types of crises, companies need to plan on them. All right. So it's very important for you as an employee when you start working for companies like Air Namibia, hotels like Hilton and Avani, and if you're working in the planning department or development department, you need to find out if they have a crisis management plan that can help them to solve some of these crises and problems. Now, we come to the most often problem that occurs in most companies, and that is customer complaints. Now, customer complaints occur either in immediate situations, emerging or sustained situations, all right? Customer complaints when they're not happy. So for you as an employee or a supplier of a product to a customer, you need to be able to provide the platform to the customer to complain, so that you find out why they're complaining and to find out if you can solve that problem. All right. So how do you make it easy for the customer to complain? First of all, you create a platform. What do I mean by this? You create what we call a department that enables customers to come up front to your service suppliers to complain. Normally, some companies have customer care departments or customer complaint departments that gives the customer the opportunity to come forward and air their views or their complaints. So as an employee, you need to listen to your customer. It's very important to take note of this complaint. You have to acknowledge this problem, okay? Listen and without interrupting the customer, so that you pay full attention of this problem, and do not make excuses for the problem. You always take note of the problem, accept the problem as part of the team. Do not blame your other colleague. You must draw the attention to the problem and solve the problem, all right? And express empathy, sympathy, and full understanding to the client. And when you are busy solving this problem, it's very important to ask the customer a question. How and when did this problem occur? All right? And then you ask the customer how he feels about it. You take note of all the information that the customer is giving you. It's not really necessary to find out who specifically caused the problem, because now we're acting as a team. And when the customer is complaining to a company, it might be that he's complaining about an individual, but you don't need to show the customer that this individual lacks service skills, because that will be the downfall of your company. Because when the customer basically complains, he does not complain about a specific individual, he complains about the company. So for you, when the customer talks to you about a problem, you need to tackle it as a team and solve it later with the individual. And it should not be in front of the customer. All right. Find out what the customer really needs. If he's not happy about a certain product that he bought, find out what's wrong with the product, solve it there and then, give him another product. If it's a service that's intangible, perhaps the service lady or the service gentleman or the supplier who provided them the service was rude on the phone, for example. Try and find out what happened during that conversation. Apologize on behalf of your colleague. Always explain to the customer what you can do first and what you cannot do. All right, because sometimes it's important to exceed the customer's expectation, but you should not over exceed, because it might cost the company a lot. Accept your mistake, accept the problem, try and tackle the situation where both of you are happy. Okay, undertake to solve the situation immediately, and if it cannot be solved immediately, basically tell the customer that you will investigate and you will come back to the customer in this specific date. Let me tell you what customers do not like. Customers do not like being told, I'll come back to you, sir, in due course. That means indefinitely. We don't know when we will come back to you. The customer becomes angry because he doesn't know when this problem will be sorted. So it's always important to tell the customer, ma'am, I have taken note of your problem. I will communicate to my colleague, and I promise to come back to you tomorrow or maybe on Friday at the specific time. All right? You need to give the date and the time that you will revert back to the customer. Okay, it's very, very important. Now, when you are dealing with the difficult customers, there are those customers, no matter what you do, they're very defensive, they're always angry, they don't want to hear anything else, they are right. As far as they're concerned, they are right, no matter what you do, they are just angry. It's very difficult to deal with such customers because it might you don't know whether you're overstepping your boundary, so it's very important to identify that difficult customer, all right, and listen. Give him the platform to talk, or give her the platform to talk, all right. Do not get defensive. That's what you try and avoid when you are dealing with a difficult customer, because the minute you get defensive, you're aggravating this person and you're making him more difficult to talk to. And do not take it personally, because some of these difficult customers, they insult you, they might get personal. So it's not for you as a professional service supplier or deliverer to be rude to this customer. All right, find out what exactly the customer is complaining about. What do they want? What their needs are. Give them alternatives. Okay, sometimes they do not want your alternatives, they want their money back. If you can give them the money back, try and do so. All right, and take responsibility for what you can do. All right, do not overpromise this client, because if you overpromise him, it will still aggravate him even more. And agree on a set step of action. If you can't solve the problem immediately, give him the time, the exact time and the date when you will get back to him. It's very important when you are dealing with a difficult client. So again, I repeat, when you are dealing with a difficult client, listen carefully, possibly take note of everything that he has said. Express your sympathy, empathy, not sympathy. Don't be sympathetic with him, because some of them, they don't like sympathy. All right? Do not argue with him or interrupt him. Listen to him. Do not lose your self-control, even if he takes it personal or insults you. Point out what the facts are after he has spoken his side of the story. Admit to the problem. Inform him that you will sort out the problem according to your organization policies. Involve him in solving the problem. Ask him, what do you think would be the best solution for you, for us to help you in this situation, and if he gives you a solution that you are able to fix, then do it. Go ahead. And after he has left, follow up, because difficult customers have a way of bad mouthing a business. And as this difficult customer leaves your shop, you might never see him again, even though you have solved his problem. But he will go put your business on the internet, for example, on YouTube, and talk about his experience. You really don't want that. So it's best if you follow up with him, find out if he's happy. And it's always good, again, to apologize and let him know, that you are committed to serving him and as a client, and you want to thank him for bringing the complaint forward, and allow him to come back again. Encourage him to come back again. And, you can also inform him that, Sarah, because of this, what happened last time, we can offer you something better, and we will rather link you to a personalized service, for example, and maybe you can link him to one of your best service suppliers that he can be dealing with. But do not question his correctness. Never question the client's correctness. That gets them more aggravated. All right. So we move on to the next step. What is stress? All I can say from my point of view is everybody goes through what we call stress. All right. Stress is anything, whether it's a force or an event that has a bad effect on the mind. All right. They say stress can be good or bad, but for most part, a lot of people experience the bad stress and not really the good stress. Okay. The good stress is normally things like when you exercise and you sweat a lot. That's good stress, isn't it? It's good. Or when you're exercising your mind, you're reading, and you're in the exam room, you're writing a test, and it's challenging. Challenging tasks are normally, they give you good stress. But then comes that stress that actually puts too much pressure on your brain and on your body. That is what we call bad stress. Now, how do we cope with these types of stress? Now, good stress, you need to understand the difference between good and bad stress. Now, good stress should benefit you as an individual. When you are exercising, you are losing fat and cholesterol. At that moment in time when you are exercising, you are stressed, but you are helping your body. When you are reading, preparing for a test, you read to understand. And so as you are in the exam room and you are writing your exam, you are stressed, right? Because now you are being challenged to think. And so that is good stress, okay? So for you to cope with stress, you need to understand what type of stress you are experiencing. Then we have what we call bad stress, all right? Emotional stress, maybe somebody left you or a boyfriend left you, a member of your family died, or you've got financial problems. Those are what we call bad stress or bad situations that lead to bad stress. Now, before you can even cope with the stress, you need to know what is causing the stress, all right, and what effect it has on your body, and how to prevent this stress from causing more stress to your body, and how do you overcome the stress. So, what causes stress in the workplace? As employees, young employees, old employees, we come across a lot of stress in our lives in the workplace. Sometimes when you are new in the workplace, you are nervous. There's a lot of challenges. Challenges are good, they say. There's a lot of competition amongst employees. There's a change that you need to adapt to. A diverse workforce, and you can't work with different cultures, empowerment, and there's too much pressure, teamwork. Some people are not able to work in teams, and this causes quite a lot of stress to a lot of people. Work conflict, maybe you have an individual in your workplace that you don't understand each other, and also computers cause stress. Some of us are addicted to computers, some of us are addicted to social media, some of us don't like technology, and so it's not easy to adapt to every change in technology in the workplace. So there's quite a lot of things that can cause stress in the workplace, as you can see them listed over here. So what impact does stress in the workplace have on us as service providers or employees? Basically what happens is, if a person or an individual is stressed in the workplace, most of the time they're either sick and they're not at work, so it causes absenteeism from work. Secondly, there is poor performance from an individual, because either you are sick and you're not performing very well, or you are thinking too much on your personal life and you're not performing very well. So there's quite a lot of accidents in the workplace. You might even undersell. You're not getting in customers if you're a salesperson. And so you also have poor relationships with your suppliers and your customers. You are angry all the time, or you are emotional and crying all the time. You're not doing your job properly. You are not committed to your work, and you've got low morale. So all these things are caused by stress, either that is happening in the workplace where you feel you're not part of the team, and so there is quite a lot of attrition in the workplace and poor performance. So all these are caused by high stress levels in the workplace. So it's important to take preventative measures and, and help yourself or help your colleagues to minimize these impacts or to overcome the stress levels. And so one of the good things how to overcome and minimize stress is time management. I'm actually not good at that, I must say. But time management is a very, very, very important thing. Why am I saying that? You know, if I had to tell you now that living day by day with a diary, if you are a busy person, is a good thing. If you are technologically challenged, you don't need to use your phone to have it, you know. You can use a normal diary, a book, you know. And it's very important to manage your time from the time you leave your home to your workplace and back to your home. Let me tell you why. Things like working overtime, things like coming home late, things like, you know, focusing more on work than your family is all because of lack of management. I'm telling you right now. Because everything in your life deserves a time spent. Just remember this. Everything in your life deserves a time spent. Why am I saying that? How many hours are in a day, if you count? And for each activity in your life, if you ask yourself, how many hours do I spend on this activity and how much have I achieved out of this activity? You will be very surprised. Most of us, I tell you now, we spend so much time at our workplace trying to complete activities that should have been completed probably within a 3-hour workspace or maybe a 5-hour workspace. But because we did not plan properly, we did not structure that activity properly from beginning to end, we end up spending a lot of hours on that activity. And it's not because we are mentally challenged, no. It's because some of us, we like leaving things for last minute. And it's not good. It's not a healthy practice. So please, all I'm saying is manage your time properly to make sure that each and every activity in your life, whether it's family, work, it fits in your every time of your life, because you were only given one life. Don't do too much that you can't handle, otherwise you'll stress yourself. Then exercise. Exercise is a part of those activities that I'm talking about. Some of us say, well, I don't have time to exercise. I'm too busy studying and working, and all those things deserve time management. It's up to you to make a choice to say, I'm going to spend 1 hour on exercising, 1 hour on reading, 1 hour on this and this and this. You manage your time so that you make sure that no activity is left out if you want to achieve something in your life. Relax. Also, you need to put relaxation in your activities. You can't work yourself off. You're only a human being. And build a social support where you get assistance. Things that you can't do, you need a team to help you to do that. You can't do everything by yourself. So, overcome stress in the workplace, in the organization. You need to set your goal. What is it that you really want to achieve? You don't want to be doing everything at the same time without a path in your life. Where are you going? Where are you headed? Some of us have more than 5 masters. What is it that you want to achieve? 5 masters, 5 skills. What is it that you actually want to achieve? You know? What is your goal in life? If you are focusing on teaching, let teaching be the focus. If you're focusing on IT, let IT be the focus. If you're focusing on engineering, civil, let civil engineering be the focus. All right. You can't be the master of all trades. You were born to be unique in something specific. And if you haven't realized it now, you're going to spend running around the whole time doing everything that you are not supposed to do. And then redesign your jobs, increase employee involvement, teamwork is very important. Communicate with your employees, management, communicate with employees, get them involved. Teamwork, working on projects, develop wellness programs that allows the employees also to relax. All right. So, what are the good tips? Some few tips here that I've written down for you to actually reduce stress. One of them, let's say at least 2 to 3 times a week. Spend time with supportive friends and family. At least 2 to 3 times a week. You spend time with friends and family. Ask for support if you want the therapist, the psychologist. If you're under pressure, ask for your employees to assist you. Don't always think that you can do everything yourself. If you're a spiritual person and you have religious beliefs, increase that. Meditate. Anything that can help your body to relax. Some of us put ourselves so much under pressure because we want to achieve something that is not even achievable, or it's not even meant for you. Just because you saw someone else doing it, you think you can also do it. But you were born to be somebody specific, to follow a specific goal. You need to find out, what is that goal? What am I meant to achieve? You can't strain your body and strain yourself, because at the end of the day, yes, you might achieve that goal, but at what price? Ask yourself, at what price? So please do not stress and overwork yourself. How do I avoid stress in the workplace? Managers, avoid electronic monitoring of your staff. You need to trust your employees. There's a reason why you put that person in that position. Delegate. That's the only way you can train and provide on-the-job training for your employees to become better. It's not always good, and I've seen it in restaurants where managers are standing right behind of staff members. That means you don't believe in your staff to do a better job. Allow employees to take time off and to relax. Give them information that does not only benefit the company but benefit their wellness as well. Have team activities. Encourage social interactions between management and employees, and vice versa. Increase emotional support in the workplace, because if an employee has difficult emotions outside, his focus at work will be minimized. So we need to give that emotional support in the workplace. Let's keep in mind that staff members are also human beings, and for them to provide a good service to our customers, they also need to be in a good space and less stressed. All right? So, thank you for listening to this video PowerPoint presentation. I want to leave you with this question. You can answer it when you have time. How stressed are you? I'm leaving you with that question. Good night.